Mic check 1, 2. Mic check, are we recording? Hey, it's Coolio once, put it way back in the day. Got something brand new for you, so we'll see how we feel about this. Face presentation. So I've been busy the last couple weeks. However, I found a nice little cheat, I guess, if you will, to crack my little frustration with WWE 2K, because I swear to you, when I came home from work this morning, I was only at level 20. Then I found someone who found a good little quick workaround, even in building in short amount of points, where they created my universe, and they had it only do a particular match. And I didn't know you could earn points just simply by watching matches. So they did something similar to what I did, where they did a custom match, except for they did a custom fatal six-way match with the win only being by completing a finishing maneuver. And in this match, everyone started with 3 finishers, so it was just a matter of practically the match is over almost as quickly as it starts. And in a matter of 2 hours, just watching these matches go by and skipping to the next one, going show after show. I mean, if you can see here, like right here, it shows January week 4. Well, I have a universe that has a Raw, a Nitro, NXT, ECW, and I think that's it. NXT, Smackdown, ECW, Raw, and Nitro. Yeah, so and each one having 9 matches. So I had to start at the beginning of the year. So after 4 weeks of 9 matches per show, and just watching these matches and then just basically clicking next, I went from level 20 all the way to level 40. So all of a sudden now I'm not as stressed about September 9th coming, which is when Season 5 will drop. Now, considering how quick these matches go, I really didn't feel so much the need to stream it, as if it's kind of boring, but I guess if you guys want to see it at work, I'll stream a little bit of it when Season 5 starts, just to show how I can go from, unless they fix it, how I can go quickly from level 1 to another level. But to that, I don't want to have you guys miss out on everything. I mean, I've already claimed all the rewards except for the one that doesn't matter anymore, where I can get a 50% boost for a given 30-minute period of time, but I'm already maxed out, so I've claimed everything else, which included a 2025 John Cena Persona card, as well as a 2000s Jeff Hardy Persona card. So that's 2 new characters that we're eventually going to have to beat. Eventually, yes, I'm going to get back to the hunt and everything, but like, even for me, like grinding those matches match after match was getting a bit taxing. I mean, like, it's fun to do an ass kicking, but to do so and get very little reward out of it and not being able to enjoy any more of the game really wasn't. It was becoming more of a job and less fun. So, and pretty much killing two, and I'm sure next, if it's like this, with the next ringside pass, it'll probably take me about like 4 hours. I'd figure of just going through that universe mode, so pretty much going through March on the calendar, and I'll probably be maxed out. But I figured I'd save opening the packs that I want for it once I stream again. And I'm especially going to become even more busy once football season starts out, because I do have a competition that I run that this is actually the 24th season that I've been running, as I'll definitely be glad to drop details about it at some point. Maybe even do a little bit of the work, like on this stream. I don't know what I'm going to do, to be quite frank, on this stream. So just like I have done in the past, I'm probably going to just throw stuff at the wall, see if it sticks. So I'm just going to go with like whatever I feel like, which is how I feel like things should be anyway, and just have fun. So I have 8 packs to open, and these 4 specifically definitely came from the tier ups. So let's open these, see if I get anything interesting out of it. Like, since I don't do my faction as far as actually play it, I enjoy it for the Persona cards, because it may be another new victim for us to hunt. Ah, yes, the useless tickets. Oh, yes, another set of useless tickets. Stuff that I'm not going to use. Now, the fun. Okay. Probably not anyone noteworthy, so I will have to make note of that one, just out of my own curiosity. Ruby, come on. Ruby was what it said the name on that character was. But I already got those. And yet it's not eliminating them. Jey Uso, yeah, Jey Uso, WrestleMania 41, I got him. Let's see here. Certified Heat. Series 1. Oh, that would probably help with a new deck. That's this other one. Goody. Sorry for those of you who are, I'm not a Hulk Hogan fan. Okay, so honestly not too thrilled about what I came up with. And what's the one I haven't cleared out yet? And there it is. And I know I haven't updated it since some newer cards came in. I just have a deck that's totally excellent. So we got a Jeff Hardy. I might have to look into a new manager, man. Because this is my best hand here. And I've gone from excellent, excellent to bad, excellent. It's like Jeff Hardy. Just really gonna cramp my style here, huh? So it might be a drop down. Headlock takedown. Drop 3 points, get excellent compatibility, or gain 3 points. I think I had DiBiase before. Don't think I had Paul Heyman. Now, how is he with Jeff? Bad. Okay. Go figure he works good with a Dudley. And I guess final look. Bad, 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 bad. Well, that didn't work out. It'd have been good with Hardy, but bad with everyone else. And even then, personally, if I were to choose between Road Dogg and Heyman as a manager, come on. You do not say no to the Oracle, the Wise Man, the Advocate. And I'm sure he could come up with a reason to tell you why Bubba Ray Dudley was the better choice over Jeff. I can give you if we do wind up doing any matches. I mean, haven't been able to pick up on the CM Punk showcase because, you know, those are some kind of long matches to get through. And I don't know. I could consider being a sucker for punishment and go through the gauntlet in showcase. But first, let's switch over and collect some cards on the apps. Free coins. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, like, this is gonna bother me looking at it. Why the hell RVD is backwards? And then... yeah, I'm still gonna shield it somehow. Claim the gold here. Usually there isn't any here yet. Mystery box. And I think that... no, we still got one other one to go through. Just kind of playing it out in my head. I'm contemplating changing the technical difficulty stuff to just regular pictures, maybe of like some personal favorite stuff, whether it be wrestling, media, personalities. Okay, pack number 1. No, I don't do the last man standing. There's very few modes I feel like picking up because, again, this is something that I want to try to relax with. Yeah, screw that. I'm not gonna run an ad on our stream time. Speaking of which, no sponsorship. If you can tell, you can tell. Controller slipping. And now I can go back to this. Let's see here which ones we can merge before we do any training. Yeah, it's sad that we're already getting to the point too where Leviathan typically has been one of my better cards, but ever since the SummerSlam 26 cards have rolled around, now even the Leviathans are starting to be not as worthy and wind up not being in my card deck. See, even Javon Evans, you know, like, granted he's not like fully trained, but he's not on any decks right now. Even if we skip out and just double check and then just automatically fill all decks. See, still not there. Train, let's see here. Lucky for me, when I decide that I want to get rid of as many of these legacy cards. See, anyone new, some of these might be new cards, but I've been gathering cards since season 1, so most of these 116 cards, that's what I kind of don't like about when they decide to do legacy cards with current card packs, because as opposed to, like, say for example, during those ones that drop every 4 hours, it's usually just one card. But when it does like legacy cards like this, it means you're getting like 3 or so cards per hit towards your 500 card deck. So it, as much as that doesn't sound that much going against something so big, it adds up. Because add to that, I'm over the now limit of 100 available draft picks. So let's just go ahead and hit all. But I'm still going to browse and make sure that all of them have 2 solid stars. Because even if one has a blinking second star, that means that I still have the ability to make them pro for the first time. I just still get those from time to time. There's still the occasional one that come up where it's like, yeah, you've had it before, but you haven't pro'd it. Yep, browse through all of them. And it barely put a dent, but it did open up the amount that I have free in my deck. So let's keep it at recent, and let's remove those ones I definitely know for sure can go. Javon's up to 2nd tier of fortified. Yo is level 1 of being fortified. And El Hijo del Vikingo see, I'm looking down there. It's a little bit hard to tell, but it's 440 out of 500. So, yeah. I was concerned that I just got rid of, let's see here, that was basically 2, 2, and then 3, 7. So I got rid of basically 125, pretty close to that. And I'm now at 124. So do I have any? The draft board, performance center, and what do I got coming next? Okay, so the next one that'll be done will be Trick Williams and Kiana James. So draft board, let's at least get through 11 so we can get this under. Training material, all training material. Like literally, unless I pull something like a SummerSlam 26th, it's all gonna be like just making moves. Yeah. All of them can be disposed of. think that's where I should get back to the game. First week of preseason done. 2 more weeks to go. And damn, just let you know just how much it's sneaking up on you. I mean, no other way to put it besides that it's definitely been a passion project. Doing this for 24 years now. So, another one that came to mind is I find it funny that I've heard, rumors lately, and then of course there's Chelsea Green having injured her orbital bone. But what no one has talked about is a promo that it appears only happened on WWE's social media platforms. Shinsuke Nakamura cut a promo on the MFTs about congratulating how they won their tag titles, but that he was bringing in someone new to join him, but he dropped hints. Here we are. Trying to find what the exact quote was. Yeah, for me it was very much blatantly obvious when he said that his partner is chaos and a ticking time bomb. And, well, I know that in New Japan, Hiromu Takahashi has been nicknamed before in the past as the time bomb, or at least the ticking time bomb, and I guess the time bomb is his finisher, and I knew I'd heard before that they were doing some new trademarks in the WWE. I'm seeing if I can find I mean, it's not official. Uses his real name. I'm seeing stuff from 3 months ago, but I could have sworn I saw something more recent as far as a name that they had trademarked. Here we go, here we go. August 7th. Albeit it's Yahoo Sports. Going over the article here. But, okay. Obviously, Japanese is not my first language, but there is an article about WWE recently trademarking a new ring name of Bakusai. And now, as far as if I can do this, because I definitely saw some sort of jacket that could kind of resemble something of his style, which has always been a little bit on the, I guess, eccentric, kind of out there. Trying to find a good image. I guess we'll start with this one. Come on. That's teeny. Not that one. Not that one. There we are. Hiromu Takahashi. And the significance of saying that he brings chaos is, because he used to be in a faction in New Japan called Chaos. And I'm pretty sure Nakamura himself were in it together. Trippy seeing some of these chaos pictures. Or maybe I'm off there. did mention Chaos. That doesn't make sense. Oh, well. Wait. Hold on. Gonna bring up this image. It was like, you tell me. Because obviously those top two are Shinsuke, but in the bottom and that little peek at the fabric in the bottom right, that's gotta be a Takahashi. So we'll exit out of that. Well, I think before going too far, I could give a little story, a little personal lore, if you will. Not to totally date myself, but I want to say the first pro wrestling video game I actually played was not that one. Or was it Warzone? That looks a little bit more familiar. Had that cover from my recollection. But the first one I actively played that's a terrible pick. There we are. Was WrestleMania 2000. And of course, you know, being younger at the time, and not to mention games weren't in as much detail. We had characters that we actively created, and of course, me and my friends, some of my brothers would make characters. And even to this day, there's like, or at least the last video games I actively played, we would make characters. And I think before even watching any bit of New Japan, I think I shared the view that in my own little fantasy wrestling promotion, that the best way to dominate was power by numbers. So like a faction is always going to have the upper hand over an individual's pursuit. And I think it might have also been because around that period of time you had groups like the Ministry, the Corporation, Degeneration X, and so on and so forth. Yes, there were tag teams, but if you had a solid group, you were going to have massive leverage unless you had like a god tier wrestler that's just going to throw a complete freaking monkey wrench in your plans, like what Undertaker did to the McMahon Helmsley faction in summer of 2000, if I remember correctly, during Judgment Day. It's the first one where Undertaker came back as the American badass, the biker look. And so, being a Rob Zombie fan, the group that I was in, that my friend was in, that the woman I created and my siblings was called the Super Beasts, because we were trying to figure out what to name ourselves. I think we thought of something like, the wolves. And I was like, we're not wolves. We're like stronger, we're not just beasts, we're super beasts. So we went with that. We had a group of more, not quite gothic, but almost paganistic type group called the Apocalypse. It was mostly imagined with like the Undertaker in mind, but even darker. And I had a counter dark team to them that kind of served as a dark but counterbalance to the Apocalypse. And ironically, I'm pretty sure that I called them the Judgment Day, but then in my mind, the story got to the point to where some of the members of the Judgment Day defected to the Apocalypse and became Judgment Knight. And then there was a group of kind of rough around the edges, kind of saw them as they were mostly some of them were extensions of ourselves, kind of like alter egos. Some of you may have caught a glimpse in earlier videos of the Jackal. That was the alter ego of myself. We haven't officially seen him in action, but I try to figure, like, yes, the Kaosfactr is going to be someone who just is ruthlessly an ass kicker and is on top of his opponents. I want Jackal to be a character who is not just a mirror to the Kaosfactr, but one that is even more ruthless. And what I might eventually get to is there was one that's pretty much the equivalent of myself, but I saw it as like me, kind of imagined if I actually was like muscular, built, jacked, like what was your stereotypical wrestler back in the early 2000s, um, called the Predator. So pretty much doing a lot of the power moves that I couldn't do, like your power slams, your bombs, just all up, beat you up. You know, I guess like in terms of moves, it could be similar to like Akari now, but I'd have to revisit that. Um, I had a group that was supposed to be basically the theme was some former American soldiers that had come back and became pro wrestlers and were they were no frills. You had a couple that were one would be more of a power bombs guy, one would be more of a slams person, so they were straight up beat you up. One is straight grapples and submissions, and then the leader um, was just no frills, tactical. So he wasn't so much grapples, but he definitely wasn't any flash. He was like about getting to the point of beating you up and taking you down. But which brings to me doubling back to the ragtag group that, like other um, songs around that time, I figured that this outcast group of wrestlers, I called them the mob scene after the Marilyn Manson song. One of them, and this is going to be a long talk to get to what I'm doing here, is someone who polar opposite to a lot of the other characters. I decided that I was going to make him the smallest you could in the game. So, this guy was going to beat you up with speed and very much your high flying agility, can't ground him for the life of you, that you might see today from like people like from places like AAA or whatnot. And his name I took influence from nature, um, because what some people may not know is that there is a bird known as the butcher bird, or more directly, a shrike. And this bird is only about the size of a sparrow. Now, the reason why he's got the moniker of the butcher bird is because they'll take small prey like mice, rabbits, and hang them up on things like barbed wire, like thorns. And so it is the smallest of the birds of prey. So when you think of birds of prey, you may think of a vulture, an eagle, a falcon even, but no one's going to think of the little old shrike. And you can tell that it's a predatory bird simply from that little hook at the end of their beak that is they're designed to tear at. flesh. So, a lot of these characters I have not made in a long time, just simply because, like, I just didn't have the interest in getting back into the WWE games. Plus, I had been busy, between life and, to be honest, what some people could sympathize with is, doing stuff like not just working, but parenting. And so, since I have a bit more time to actually get into the games and explore and try to bring back what was then now, so I can kind of present and convey to you guys what those images and those characters, the thought process, looked like. And since we have tier 40, I'm not as concerned about getting those points anymore, as explained. And it doesn't... Best from what I've seen, you're not going to have a reset for another 3 weeks. So, it's been a while since we've done one of these. The last time we did one of these, we were making a Taylor Rose. Because even then, the Dark Rose was basically just Taylor Rose with a few changes. And Akari, I think I made offline. So, see how easy it's going to be to make this time. And I know that the hardest part is actually going to be going through the moves because, well, not just because the amount of moves in the game, not just for the amount of move slots, but this guy definitely has a style. And it's very much that of... he doesn't stay on the floor for very long. Like, even when he's standing, I want him to be doing more stuff like kicks, jumps. Like, even if the basic attack requires, like, doing a jumping kick, an enziguri, a drop kick. Those are the type of moves that he'll do. So, probably going to start with one of these, and then just strip down, change to the new style. And even then with this guy, I kind of like it. And as much as he kind of has the luchador style, I don't think I'll have a mask, though. Maybe I'll make an alternate attire that has where he comes out with. Now, actually, I already had thought about this one, but maybe in another attire will give him kind of like a luchador look. But I knew I was looking for a little bit more gothic, not like steampunk, but I saw a mask in here browsing here before that is kind of like that medicine man mask. And I was thinking about having him try it on. Yeah, I know I've said before, but this was the guy that I started with when I started sculpting myself and just adjusted it from there. There's elements that I like, there's elements that I don't like. Like, so far, I definitely feel compelled for something else. For now, I keep coming back to this one. And I don't know if I'd go to this one, if it'd wind up feeling more like like I'm going for something like a Darby Allin. Okay, we'll start with him and go from there. And paging line 1. Okay, so face will kind of... We'll work with it eventually, because I know the first thing that comes to mind is, for me, is I remember the... You know... What would have been so popular, too, back then is he had a bit of a ponytail. No. And once again, where's the option for... I could have swore there was... There you go. I do not want to see the locked attire. And I do want long hair, not a frickin' man bun. And I'll see if any of them speak to me as far as, like, if it fit him, but more of kind of like the him in 2026. Because initially I'd be thinking something like this. Might want to start marking some. Mark that one. So they're going to call that a ponytail. Go, I got that pointing me. My God. No. I Girl, do you think this is a joke? Oh my god, this is just me going through his hair. Imagine going through his moves. Like, sister, that is not going to be fun. Yeah, we're definitely hitting the women's hair. So let's get to the point. I think I'll go with that one. Material. Because definitely would have been black. So kind of go between kind of like a blue. The only reason why I'm not wanting to go for a purple, as much as it doesn't look bad, is we've gone through several iterations of purple already between even the characters that we have. It's interesting swapping it. Because I was thinking about doing like black with like trying to figure like a stripe. But I guess this could work too. Shine? Yeah, nah. And yeah, it's 10 o'clock, man. And now, realistically thinking, maybe I should, like, when I'm done making this guy, I think a term I'll use that I've already had in my mind before is a shell, where I make the character just for the looks. The parts aren't done, there's no entrance, but the character itself is there, and then it would just need to be built around. So, maybe take care of the shell of him. And as much as I had in my little mind to work on a bunch of other stuff and have y'all watch, like especially football related stuff, I probably should get some sleep since, well, it's past when I usually go to sleep through this busy weekend. This is my only day off this week, and I don't know what my schedule is going to look out like quite for next week, if I'm going to be working, 5, 4, 6 days but I knew I wanted to get some time in. And as much as I've had this character for a long ass time, I don't want him to look old. So I did think, well, looking at him on the surface, if I should get like some better facial hair. Yeah, no. Yeah, for those who want to make the big LG, big Luke Gallows. It is rude to yawn during a stream. Yeah. Okay, let's hit it from the top. And do not show locked ones. That's just rude. Okay, Akari's rabbi uncle stopped by. The former musketeer. This one's kind of promising. Kind of promising. And you never know if I wind up having someone popping by in the room that doesn't even know that we're recording. So I'm going to cut the camera every so often for little occasions like that. But thinking about combining that beard with that one. We'll give it a shot. Maybe it'll let you, yeah, here. could work. Eyelashes. How about just straight up eyes? See, should we go with anything interesting, different, or weird? Yeah, that works. Not makeup. Face paint. Because, well, it wasn't anything outrageous. He did have some face paint. Could see potentially using that. You know, with the eyes and the beard, that might work. Was not intending on it to work, but it very well might work. So I was also thinking about like that, but I'd have to figure out how to work out that black from the paint because I kind of like the red. Yeah, that doesn't work for him. Because back then, I mean, there were some of these paints that have been around even since like back then. Like I'm pretty sure this was their way back. And I think there was like a reverse one that, or maybe I was thinking about when you do that and then you throw that one on the other side. Pretty sure I had this used for somebody. Could have even been him, but with that other face paint. The other one, it'll probably look a little better. I wonder if I do this and then do this when I get around to Predator. You know, someone watched Black Swan and got inspired. I do believe I threw this one on for Predator. Not Predator, but Jackal. I think I'm pretty close to being all the way back around, so I think that pretty well establishes I'm going to go with this one. And that I'm going to lean further in, because especially with having those light blue eyes, they're going to like pierce right through the black. It's almost like the black will emphasize it. And then this, I think we'll just, I was going to say straight up adopt the blue, but the blue doesn't work as good like that, but oh yeah. Kind of liking that. I mean, it's almost like, think of it as like war paint for him. Yeah, let's just make it black. Upper body. Body here. Wasn't really thinking much of it, but I'll leave it alone. It's not like it's messing with it that much. However, we'll remove the tattoos until I figure out what might work better. Because I'm not against the tattoos, just little scars, little scars. Body tattoo, torso. I remember using this for a few of them. Can't remember. I think I used this for a few people back then. And again, yes, it was around. Yeah, no. The heck is... Yeah, none. Back. No. Could go on the back of something like a jacket, because I remember he used to, you know, back then, in what would have been like a hot look, would have been something like a trench coat. What's that? I mean, it doesn't look bad, just can barely tell what it is. And we'll go with basic black. Outer glow. Oh, I got it. But, yeah, that ain't gonna work for me, brother. Outline. That's probably more like what I had in mind. Still sucks. Here's where we can get into those arm tattoos. And once again, why? Considerable. I just had a touch of creativity. You know, some depth into the character. Because if he's named after a bird, then I saw the one that looked like it was more of a foresty look. Yeah. Yeah, that's not gonna work out so well, brother. And then right arm. I'm not thinking copy. But have the other one be this one, which kind of does give a bit of a mountainy feel. kind of pushing it. Now, especially if he's going to be wearing pants, I really don't see much in paying attention to the leg situation. But clothing, head. It may be hoping for a lot, but if I can get something that has like a set of feathers. Like, not necessarily that, for what I had in mind, but something else. But still, if I can find... It's probably going to be something minimalistic. But yeah, this is kind of the one I have in mind that he could come to the ring wearing. Like, would it be too much to ask for, yeah, just as simple as a freaking, like, feather or so? No, that could work. Not now, but like, if I can find the right thing to have go with him when he goes out. Then again, it might look too weird if his entrance doesn't quite go well with that on his head. Because the idea I'm starting to think, especially with the Forrest-ish thing with the arms, like I have a bit of American Indian connection myself, hence the two white flags behind me. So, if I could have had, like, where, I don't know, kind of like a regular tribal member, you know, like maybe just like a couple feathers. I was trying to place for a brief moment where it's like, where had I seen that mask from? And of course, I'll warn you at some point. There's probably going to be a point where I wind up getting a freaking cat that decides it wants to jump on my lap. Headgear. Headwear. Maybe I'll have a better chance with this. That's definitely not going to be it. package has been secured and it is in the building. Yeah, this is not gonna work for me, brother. Man, I really gotta hurry up on this shell. Now, this might be where I have the most luck. Now, a couple characters that I won't make because I think that it would be like going back to like the 80s and just like going with a character that just wouldn't get over today is they actually did have like horns, so like as if they had like derived from hell of some way. See, one Aztec and two, I think it'd be going too far. I'm not trying to recreate High Chief Peter Maivia. Yep, so far this is definitely not gonna work, brother. I keep on hitting little spots where it's like, a chance? A chance? Though I have to say, like, I do like the idea of him having the jacket like that. Like I mentioned back then, he used to have like a hood, but a lot of them did, you know. Back then, trench coats were cool and shit. What about the other way around? Maybe not so much. But let's, for one, get rid of the watch. We'll discuss that later. put an image on the top. Figured, of course, they'd put it on the front. That's a wall fill. I just want to get a better look at it. Well, no. Okay, it's hard to tell exactly. Like, on one hand, it looks kind of like arrows, bird prints. You know, on that note, oh, I think I'm still on the image, aren't I? Oh, yeah. Cloth. There we go. Second material being, since I don't see anything being highlighted, it's probably these buttons. I mean, makes sense. Oh yeah, it's the buttons. Sparkly! That's way too distracting. However, I could certainly see them using some arm stuff. Okay, so I was thinking probably more towards elbow. I get the feeling I was just there. Nah. If I want something on there, I want it to be practical. Large. If that were to work, I'd have to severely mess with it. What's this one? Possibly. What the hell is this? Kind of questioning if he needs to have any anyway. Damn it. Okay, I think I'll skip those and just go with the... Oh yes, from the Hardy Boys. Definitely gonna have to dial it back. It doesn't need the tassels. Ah. These are the Alexa Bliss gloves. Given that he actually has that color scheme. Yeah, not bad. If we switched it... Nah, it looked better the other way around. And lower body, minus except for the double belt look, which I don't get. funny thing is, I don't hate it. Can't say I hate it. Ah, hell no. Default looks better than cloth. It's gotta be the belt. Ah, cool. And from what I can tell, that's a bird on it too. Well, what do you know? Maybe here's a good place to put that. So I'm looking for, there's gotta be. Yeah, there's not really a place to put that accented blue. That makes sense. Clothing's part color, import parts. That's if we wanted to bring it in from another character. Not persona. Except there. Some of this is, most of this is going to require just a, well, can't require just a keyboard. Of course, they're not going to have the Shrike. Consider me freaking surprised if it does. Though I did say something that I wonder. Let's see, this is going to start with looking at. Oh, I think we got it. Oh, we got it. As much as I hate that there's not the, there's still the, and it's and they do pronounce it the. The butcher. Come on, we're so close. You're not gonna have Shrike. So close. There we are. The Butcher Bird. Menu pose. Yeah, he's not gonna be too serious, but could. That could work. Kind of like that one. Yeah, I like that one too. Okay, I liked some of those other ones better. Okay, here we go. Inspired by his own talents. inspired by the audience. You know, we'll give him a 30. I'll give it 33. Treacherous or loyal. Bold. No. You know, it'd be funny if we could do... Just when I was thinking, like, from out of the sky. From out of this world. We'll go immune to fear. Okay, we'll go, what's up? Yeah, we're still that high up on the sign list in here. I'm thinking I can find something like a Penta, you know, something like that. That would be like, you know, no fear. Is he bleeding already? Sammy. Hug it out. Well, I see plenty of psycho stuff. Jeez. We believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah, steal the show. Don't puke again. Yeah. You're getting itchy. Been streaming for 2.25 hours now. Quinn. Tempting to go Genius of the Sky. And just for now, is that all you got? I think at the least for now. Just the standard ass WWE plates. High flyer. Statistics. Come back. Now let's go with Adrenaline Rush. And Second Wind. Now, where did I go? Because I see the... That's what I was missing. Body. See, I was good with the body. I don't feel the need to change any of it. But height and weight. And again, smallest I can. 5'4". Weight. We will literally, you know, since, you know, I remember 205 live, let's make him 204. Because we're not expecting him to do like any lifting. He's going to be doing like kicks, flips, jumps. Statistics. And he is the loyal tag team partner of the Jackal. Always has been. And like I pointed out, maybe we'll try to throw together an alternate attire, and like I mentioned what I have in mind. I don't have an actual look or pattern in mind, but if we can come up with an idea to kind of give him a proper luchador look, you know, complete with mask and everything, that's ideally what I'd be going for. Jeez. Now all of a sudden, just as I'm getting ready to be done, I'm going all Black Panther on. What are those? What are those? Got someone flying around. Those look like some pretty heavy freaking boots. Like either barefoot, man, or if you're gonna be running around, jumping, flipping, you want something, you know, light. And while I would say barefoot, knowing how we fight, you know, we don't want him like running on thumbtacks barefoot. So light but not exploitative on the feet. He's no stranger to fighting against people like us. Not quite like that. And now them ankles. See, those look mostly okay. I mean, like, so far they're better. Fine, let's go with... Yeah, no. I see some every so often that catch my eye. You know, material. And we'll emphasize on, we'll make it cloth. Leather. Color. And here, lucky. And we've learned from last time. as much as we don't have any of the moveset, upload. Just in case, upload. Okay, fine. Yes. Stack 1, custom. You've seen it here first if you want to look for it. Kaosfactr. I like that as a description. Which means that so I can upload so we actually have some of them that have been downloaded, huh? So I noticed times downloaded 1. Looks like the original Black Rose got an upvote, and Akari has been downloaded once. And delete selected as they have newer versions since then. Dismiss. Speaking of dismissed, thanks to the beauty of the camera, everyone's been seeing that I've been getting tired after having woken up at 3:30 to go to work last night. My one day off. And as far as tonight goes, let's see here. For those who are interested or might look into watching stuff like this themselves, Food Network is the Great Food Truck Race. On A&E is LFG, which, say what you will about it, I do like the behind the scenes look at. I thought I heard something else. I like the behind the scenes look at not just these wrestlers' progressions as well as prepping for matches. Just what sucks is for some of them there had been more recent news since then. Like I've seen people in LFG training for a match when I'd already heard news since then that they had been released. I mean, so it's still good television. It just sucks knowing that they're already gone. And then bonus, for those who have a way of accessing it or have HBO Max at 9 p.m. Eastern is the debut of the DC series Lanterns. But as for now, I do hope to jump on later to stream more, and we'll see what I do from there. Maybe we'll start working on the moveset for Shrike. We may jump into football rosters, football statistics, and you'll see how I mess with those. But as we always do, to quote the cleaner, Kenny Omega, and for the first time looking at me saying it, I must bid you all I must bid you adieu. So, good night and goodbye. Bang. And I'll see y'all later.